Motherfucking Jack the Ripper, 1888, Whitechapel, so it's East London. Very poor, very crime-ridden, lots of prostitutes. And another famous thing about this guy is he only targeted women. One, obviously he was never caught, but two, he was extremely brutal. It came out of nowhere. Boom, the killing started. Once a week, there was like somebody who dismembered. Police obviously were fucked. There was no forensics back then. They were just straight up standing around with like a lantern and like, I think this woman was stabbed. So these are the 5 canonical victims. Mary Ann Nichols was found with her throat slashed and abdomen mutilated. Annie Chapman was the next victim, throat slit with the womb completely removed. The person killing these women had anatomical knowledge. What's famously known as the double event, where 2 women in the same night were killed, hours apart. First girl, Elizabeth Stride. Her throat was slit, but there was no mutilation on the body. Speculation was that he was interrupted mid-killing. Literally an hour after, a body that was horrifically mutilated, kidney and uterus removed, face slashes carved into like a mask. Her name was Catherine Edoes. Mary Jane Kelly on November 9th, 1888 was the most brutal one, who was murdered in her own bed, mutilated beyond recognition, fully disemboweled and organs placed around the room, face hacked off. It was considered as the Jack the Ripper's finale. There's like these famous letters that were found. September 25th, signed Jack the Ripper. It was sent in like a box with a human kidney preserved in alcohol. Recipient, George Lusk, head of the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee. The writer opens with, "From hell," tells Lusk he is sending him half the kidney he took from one woman and that he fried and ate the other half. He mocks Lusk, saying if he waits, he'll send the knife he used. Ends with, "Catch me when you can, Mr. Lusk." This guy had to have extremely good knowledge of the town that he was terrorizing, so like he had to be a local. They knew about him since August 31, trying to catch him. Like people literally mob policing the streets, like no one was able to catch him. Theories about his identity. Montague Druitt, barrister slash teacher who died by died right after the last murder. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish Jewish barber living in Whitechapel who was mentally ill. Walter Sickert, a famous painter popularized as a suspect by Patricia Cornwell. John Pizer, who was a local Jewish bootmaker, initially suspected because he used to threaten prostitutes. He had nothing. Multiple witnesses that saw the women before they were killed claimed that they were talking to a certain man. Shabby gentleman's clothing, foreign accent, carrying a black bag, had a mustache. Theories around it is that he was either a butcher, a doctor, or an immigrant. Butcher would know how to carve meat. Doctor would obviously know surgery.
Like, what's the most probable lead?
Aaron Kosminski has been linked through DNA evidence to a shawl found at the crime scene of Catherine Edoes. This DNA evidence was presented in a 2019 study published in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, which concluded that Kosminski was the most likely suspect. It would support the foreign accent theory.
And he was a barber?
He was a barber.
Knew his way around a razor.
Also, being an immigrant, though, you never know what job they had in their home country. A witness reportedly identified Kosminski in a police lineup, though the witness refused to testify.